everyone. Welcome back to another session of Tech Talk with me, Tripti, your host from Tech Jobs Fair. And today we are about to dive into a very exciting discussion with our very special guest and very beautiful Miss Dilek Süzal, who is a licensed coach with an architectural background, being recognized amongst top 15 coaches in Vienna 3 years in a row. She supported clients from Google, BP, and the World Bank Group to take their professional mastery to next level. And today she's here to help you all. So let's welcome Dilek to our session. Hi, Dilek. Welcome to Tech Jobs Fair Tech Talk session. And how are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Tripti. It's an amazing day. I'm very, very happy and excited to be here with your audience today. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Tech Jobs Fair.
Awesome. We are super thrilled to have you, and I am very much looking forward to our conversation that we'll have here. So, just to quickly give an update to our viewers, she will be giving some tips and insights on building your identity and how you can communicate your expertise with confidence, because that's what you need in this competitive job market right now, right? And another thing, if you have any question, guys, please feel free to drop down your questions in the comment section, and I'm pretty sure Dilek will be super happy to answer them all.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I do have a lot of questions lined up for you, but before we dive deeper into those questions, how about we take some time to hear your beautiful journey you've had in the industry so far? Can you take us through that?
Absolutely. So, Tripti, first of all, I would like to let the audience that every time I speak to a live audience, I get incredibly excited, very, very happy, a little bit nervous, a bit anxious. Of course, all of those emotions are coming in a beautiful cocktail. And this
Yeah.
is pretty normal. And at some point of this interview, we will be touching base on how communication skills will be helping us express ourselves better, or how the communication with confidence and using the public speaking methods will help people let their audience, let their people, let their customers to know who they truly and authentically are. So it's very
Yeah.
normal to say at the beginning that you might feel nervous, you might feel anxious after so many times being on the stage with live audiences. I still feel this, and this is totally normal. This is the first thing that I want to share with our audience. And secondly, of course, it hasn't been my privilege, let's say, all my life to speak with live audiences like this and to be super confident with what I do. And, like being nominated and listed in one of the top 15 coaches in Vienna 3 years in a row. It is a very humbling and rewarding experience, of course, but it hasn't always been like this. And we all have our ups and downs in our career paths, or 180 degrees changes, like myself. So I'm a living proof that anything and everything can be possible at any age, in any new country, in any new language, when you are persistently chasing your goals. Um,
Absolutely.
so let me give you a little bit of an information about my background. I'm an open book. Everybody can find me on LinkedIn, on my website, dileksüzal.com. But basically, I'm originally from Turkey, living in Vienna for the past 13 years. I'm a very proud mother of two children. I'm married and I have a beautiful family. And I am growing every day in my personal path as well as my professional path, Trupti. I have a background in architecture. I'm an architect by trade. I hold a master's degree. And after living this life, this professional identity for almost 20 years, I decided to shift course and I decided to become a coach and trainer. Almost with the age of 40, by the way, which wasn't very much easier than an early age, so to say. So I shifted course pretty late. I'm a late bloomer in my second career spring, but I'm enjoying it tremendously right now. And I'm growing every day with it to the person that I can become.
That's such a beautiful story. Thank you for letting
Thank
us know
you.
that and
Right.
taking us through your journey, right? In a very very small span of time. However, I would like to know, the change that you had in your career, was it planned or was it very impromptu?
So, what we promise our audience today is starting with the art of clarity, right? And when we talk about career and when we talk about clarity, when these two words are coming together, it is the point where we feel centered, when we feel aligned, and when we feel serving.
Yeah.
For very many years, when I was working in the field of architecture and interior architecture, I was fulfilled to some extent because I was working with people.
Mhm.
When I started my career after university, I immediately started to work for an architectural office, which I needed to sit in front of the computer 24/7 without any human interaction, and it killed me very, very soon. And
Yeah.
I shifted course. My first course shifting was from the field of architecture to interior architecture, which was more interactive. The time spans of projects were shorter, and I got the opportunity to work with people one on one to help their dreams come true. It was, of course, in a physical realm, and of course, the briefing and the designing and enjoying the whole process of interactivity with people being in the center of my career. There
Yeah.
was another part, which is the construction sites, installations, electricity thingies, plumbers, all of those things that we needed to take care of until their dreams are really turning into realities. And the
Mhm.
second part happened to be more and more difficult for me in the course of different years. When I was working in the Turkish market, in the German market, in the Austrian market too, have experienced them all. And I have decided after these various experiences that the other part is really not my thing. And
Mhm.
I was constantly thinking, after I moved to Vienna, after I had my children, and after I was growing into another person with another identity, which we will be talking about today, I was constantly questioning if this thing is for me, if this is the end, if I should be doing it for another 30 years and then go into pension and everything will be over for me career wise.
Yeah.
Uh, there came a point that I said, okay, this is not my thing. This might be a dream for many other people. People are dying to work in the field of architecture, interior architecture, which I
It is.
loved when I was studying
It is.
it. During my training, I was very, very happy for 4 years. But in the professional life, it changed course for me after many years of experiencing it. And
Mhm.
there came a breaking point. The answer to your question is that me really like hitting rock bottom and thinking there should be another way. I
Uh-huh.
cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel right now, but there
Yeah.
is another way, and I will figure that out.
Yeah.
That
You
was
dig the right way.
yes, yes.
You dig the right way out of the tunnel, right? That
Oh
you're
my
really
God. Yeah.
enjoying right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's very important to have that realization whether you're happy in what you're doing, whether you're enjoying what you're doing or not. I think, and that's where I'm like one things already when you figured out that things weren't working out and you were not really happy or satisfied in what
Mhm.
you're doing, because now you look absolutely glowing and happy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is like 80% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time I look like this, but there's a 20 and 30% that nobody sees, which is like crying and yelling, why it's not happening, frustrated.
Yes.
So I just want people to know that it's not always shiny. There are cloudy days. There are days that we feel down. There are days that we come this much close to giving up. Yesterday evening, I had a really very horrible experience with some digital platforms that I needed to do something immediately. I couldn't. And I was this close to breaking down, really. At that very moment, a dear friend and colleague reached out to me and said, I will help you and we will figure this out. And I'm grateful for his support because without that support, timely support, I was really, really about to give up. So it applies to all of us. But I am again telling you the living proof that when you don't give up on the big plan, the small stuff is all figure outable.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, you decided to change careers almost at the age of 40.
Yeah.
And how did you decide it, and how is it going so far for you?
Oh, so I made this change almost 8 years ago now. It all started with me, yes, first figuring out that, okay, this is not where I belong to. And
Mhm.
how can I create the process towards the thing that I truly belong, right? And at that very moment, I was very lucky enough to be investing in a career coach. And with her precious help, I sorted out a lot of things that was looking like a chaos in my mind. I sorted out a lot of different industries that I could be working in. I made a short list. I did a great focus study. And then at the end of the day, I have come up with 4 to 5 different options for me to go further. And then after a detailed research about how could be my next career path, on that
Yeah.
short list, I enrolled to free information evenings, webinars, seminars, just like free courses of the first modules, so to say, in order to understand if that thing is really speaking to my heart. By the way, I'm having my day job. It's like full time
Mhm.
and then part time, but I'm having my day job. So this was the hybrid model that I was trying to figure it all
Yeah.
out. And when I was sorting it out after these information evenings and getting a little bit deeper in each area, I decided on this one thing that was called coaching. And it was like, wow, that is really amazing. First, my coach, what she was doing with me was phenomenal. And the
Uh-huh.
second thing, I enrolled to one module of my Art and Science of Coaching program with Ericsson International, and I fell in love with it immediately. But always I had this B plan in the back of my head. If it wouldn't work out, I would drop off and yeah, from module 2, I won't continue. That would be a great thing for my personal development.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I fell in love with it and I continued on that path. And 8 years later, in Austria, in a different country than my homeland, in a different language, in a different cultural setup, and a different work environment setup, I had the opportunity to ground my own company, work as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, in collaboration with wonderful companies and people and organizations, and growing with my own programs and with the programs that I have the privilege to contribute as a coach and trainer. So, a long journey so far.
So yes, yes. I mean, you did really take that leap from being on one side of the table to another side of the table, right? From
Mhm.
getting the coaching to coaching people. I mean, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And now I really want to get into the topic kind of a thing, right? So, what do identity building and communicating who you are mean to you when doing a career transition, and how the people who are at the early stage of career make most use of it?
Yes. So when I think of identity, the topic identity, of course, I was brainstorming a little bit on the identity and how to present this to people in the best possible and easiest possible way. I came
Mhm.
up with an architectural analogy because I love architecture and I love analogies. Just imagine, Tripti, that you are the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
Okay. Where are you located?
like you want the exact location or like
Yes,
just
the exact location. Like, yeah,
Paris?
in Paris. Perfect. So what is your raw material? What are you made up of?
Metals?
Metal, steel, absolutely. Are you short? Are you tall?
Tall.
Do you You're tall, okay. So are you is many are there many people interested in you or seeing you, or do
Yeah,
you
they
look
won't
like
want to have a look at me though.
Yes, absolutely. So just imagine that one day you don't prefer to be the Eiffel Tower any longer, and
Hmm.
you just want to turn into an Empire State Building. Okay. Where will you be located then?
Like the heart
Yeah.
of the city.
Yes. Then you need to be shifting to New York. Then you
Yeah,
need to be shifting to Manhattan. And what is going to be your raw material? Probably is going to be metal again, but there will be a little bit of glass. There will be a little bit of wood. There will be whatever. And then
yeah,
are
on the
you going to
bricks.
be, yeah. And are you going to be short? Are you going to be tall?
I'm gonna be fat.
Yes. So you're going to be incredibly big, but
Yeah,
the raw material, the location, and the things that define you need to be changing if you are to convert yourself from being an Eiffel Tower to being an Empire State Building. So when we are talking about identity, we need to make sure that identity is a collection of the things that define us
Yes.
and a collection of the things that people remember us with.
Right.
So when I told you an Eiffel Tower, I didn't need to show you a picture. I didn't need to show you a map of Paris. I didn't need to show you anything because it's a landmark that
Mm.
anyone in the planet Earth, if we're lucky to reach to some educational resources, can have a ground image of.
Right.
And with these main characteristics that shape our identity, we are remembered.
Mhm.
And when we touch base on the identity level in a professional life, it is all about how your main characteristics are presented in your work, your strengths, your talents, the things that make you who you are,
Mhm.
and how you are being remembered with your contribution to any type of project, organization, work life, in a team level, in a teamwork, how you are remembered with your contributions.
Right.
So when you think of identity, as I told you in this tiny example, it is a big collection of many things that
Mhm.
make you in the professional life who you are, that is supported by the personal growth element, like at all times.
Right. I love that analogy there. Like
Thank
how
you.
you know, I mean, like you made it very, very simple to understand how one can describe its identity, you know, cannot just be like a one word thing. It
Yeah,
is made up of a lot of things. I mean, like it takes a lot of things to build you, right? So love that analogy. Thanks for sharing that. And
of course.
what might be the ways, to let the world know who you are about to become? Like maybe not your plans directly, but you know the ultimate output of you what you're
Mm,
planning to be, right? They don't
mhm.
want to share the journey, but they want to let them know that what are their final destination is.
Yes. Tripti, this is a beautiful question. Thank you for asking this. Uh, I would like to go back to the analogy and use it for another level. We talked about it like being the Eiffel Tower and converting into an Empire State's building. Could it
Mhm.
happen overnight?
Yeah, of course
Of
not.
course it can't, right? At least the locations are in two different continents. It's impossible. But if you adopt this feeling and image and analogy to the workplace, shifting from one career identity to another one, like me being an architect, shifting to being a coach, professional coach and trainer, does not happen over time.
Right.
Overnight, I'm sorry. So what we need to be bearing in mind is that there is a transition period which we tend to very often oversee, and we want to skip that period and jump into the next thing and become the next thing immediately, which doesn't happen, which creates a lot of frustration, which creates a lot of anxiety, and which creates the moments of giving up. But once we are aware that, okay, I am now having this identity of an architect, and I'm now talking about a technical person shifting to a solopreneurship in the service sector. So, this is the example we're going through. I'm taking people through. If you are shifting from a technical job to another soft skill related job in corporation, it's another thing. If you're
Yeah.
switching to another entrepreneurship where you create products and sell products, it's another story. I want to make sure that distinction, because it's important. Now we're basically talking through my experience, which is shifting from being a corporate member to a solopreneur in the service sector. But once you need to make that transition, the thing that you need to be understanding is, okay, where am I currently? What are my strengths and talents? What can be my transferable skills that I can use in my second career path? And
Mhm.
after the period that I told you about, this hybrid model, checking in with the options, talking to people, getting some mentoring, getting some coaching, having some partner alongside you who could help you during that process, you check out the options by learning deeper. And once you pinpoint the thing that will serve you in your life, you need to be trained for it if it's not a part of your skill set, which wasn't my case. In my case. And I needed to be trained as a coach, which took me very many years. My first training took me almost a year. The second one, 1.5 years. First one was the international one in English. The second one was a local one in Austria in German. After those two, I could get licensed because it was a very complicated process. But during that transition period, training plays a huge role. Sharing your time very consciously between what you need to be spending your day with, your day job, your household responsibilities, your kids, your different identities that you carry throughout the day plays a huge role there in that transition period. And during that transition period, now I'm answering your question very briefly.
Yeah.
When you know that this is your career path, then you have found the thing that you can easily dedicate the next 20 years of your life. There comes a moment that you need to share it with the world, really, like, out loud.
Yeah.
In every networking event, in any digital platform, any digital footprint that you leave behind you, you need to tell people, this is who I am becoming. This is my new interest. For that, I'm getting this training. For that, I'm going to this conference. For that, I'm going to that networking. And in breadcrumbs, people start to understand what you're leaving behind, what you're having with you, and which direction you're going.
Right. But there's also a saying which I don't exactly remember the saying, but it says something like, don't tell them your plans, but then just tell them when you, I mean, like, get it, or when you become that particular, whatever your plan gets fulfilled. So could we balance that, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
There are stages of this communication, because we
Mhm.
told people that this communication, your expertise with confidence, is the point. But
Yeah.
once you know that you have found the place that you belong to, the
Yeah.
career niche, let's say, or the
Mhm.
industry that you belong to, and have an inner feeling, an intuitive feeling of it, it is time to leave the breadcrumbs before you fully become that person or that professional identity carrying person.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
the path, the journey is important. And in today's world, it's very easy to share your journey through social media channels. I use LinkedIn, I use Instagram, I use Facebook. These three channels are my communication channels with my audience and very often with my clients. And when I look at those platforms, there's an everyday opportunity to tell people what your interests are. And you can
Yeah.
always be very honest, saying, like, I'm converting into this, I'm transitioning into this path. Do you know any education? Do you know any conferences? Would you be there with me? I feel nervous, but I want to be there. I feel kind of like a little bit unwilling to go to that networking event, but it's just like important. It seems important for me. So sharing out loud what you are about to become is as important as being out there in front of a live audience and speaking to thousands of people, which I did back in conferences, and tell them, you know what, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. I have been there too. And
Yeah.
in every stage of our lives, Tripti, there is so much more to learn. It's a never ending process. So once you have this inner feeling that you have become the person that you wanted to become for today, that's a good
Mhm.
feeling, because tomorrow it won't be enough.
Right. And also, I think sharing these, like, especially right now that we have so many platforms as benefits, right, where we can share our mm, all of the things, right, our experiences, our achievements. And it
Yeah.
also works as like a memory for you when you look back and from where you started and where you are right now.
Oh,
So
yes. Yes.
gives that happiness and satisfaction and gives you that courage and confidence to do more, right? It works
Absolutely.
as that memory lane.
Absolutely. And I love these before and after videos. And I love to follow the stories of people, great motivators, great inspirational role models that I have. And I
Yeah.
love to follow their stories for very many years, if I don't, even though I don't know them personally. Like,
Mhm.
following the growth path of an author or a speaker speaks so much to my heart, because it gives me encouragement that if they could do it, I could
Yeah.
do it too. And I'm here to tell your audience, tell our audience, that if I could humbly do this, which is not the end, I'm still on my path to growth and I'm learning something new every single day. You can do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just encouraging each other. through the virtual setup.
Absolutely. We need this.
Right. And how can someone benefit from the communication and public speaking skills in order to build their, brand identity, maybe through some events or also through on one-on-one interactions on any level? How can these two, skills help them?
Yes, the communication level is very similar to one another when we're speaking to one single person, when we are speaking to 10 people, when we're speaking to 1,000 people. The energy is the same. What you want to give to the conversation, what you want to get out of the conversation, what kind of a relationship building is happening during the course of the conversation. When I was building my professional identity, this Dilek Süzal coaching and training, what I have done, of course, I have attended to a lot of networking events, webinars, seminars when I needed to tell people about what I was doing and sometimes pitching people my business, right? I do this, I can provide these services, and so on and so forth. What I have done is not pushing it too fast, not pushing it too further. I tried to leave every event with 1 to 2 meaningful conversations that I can take further really in my personal and professional journey. And in that moment of that conversation, when you are telling the other person that I am on a journey that speaks true to my heart, and
Hmm.
I'm honestly not there yet, but I could use some help and support. And in exchange, I can provide you this and that. It doesn't have to be a professional exchange, but sometimes it is a personal exchange, a help and support. I have a sparring partner, a coach friend of mine. We're meeting every week for an hour and we are coaching each other, for example. This is an incredible support, which money doesn't play any role.
Yeah.
So when you ask for some support and when you could provide some sort of a value back, that's an incredible way to build trust, build confidence in yourself, also build up the expertise that you're looking forward to. Because once you start your own journey with providing the support with your own expertise to the outer world, be it one person, a group setting, or anything else, that you start to trust your own skills, that you start to trust in the process, and that you start to open doors for new opportunities that will convert into leads and clients and customer journeys one day, which is very important because if you're a business, you need to be creating value and getting some value.
Yes,
So, yeah. Hmm.
especially when you are in that growing phase. I think it's very important to go out there and share whatever you have and gain from others experience, because that's going to be really really helpful. It's either going to
Absolutely.
be like a benefit to you or it's going to be a learning for you, right?
Yes.
It's one of
Yes.
the two, and both are like, for a grower it's important.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
succeed, you learn.
Win-win.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
there's nothing to lose, I mean.
Absolutely.
All right. So I do have one last question for you.
Sure.
So
Sure.
in this journey that you've had, especially in your, career transformation that you've been through, so what are the special learnings that you've had, and are there any regrets that you have through this journey? Like,
Uh, the main learnings, I mean, this never give up and go after your dreams and chase your dreams. Believe in yourself. Of course, these are the things that comes to mind when somebody asks you a question like this. Yes,
yeah,
believing in yourself is very important. Chasing your dreams is very important. Going after what you truly believe in is very important. But I think I'm operating in the sweet spot between being realistic and being a dreamer.
hmm,
With my architectural background taught me a lot about how to structure things, how to plan things in advance, how to pick up the soil, how to create the blueprint, how to build up on it. It
yeah,
takes time, it takes encouragement, it takes a strategy, it takes the necessary tools, it takes the necessary methodologies, raw material. So the mindset, the believing in yourself is the key, my first learning. And the passion that you have around any industry, any job, any role is the second most important key, because once you lose motivation, that is the thing that will take you up again, that will just like when you fall down, that passion, that meaning, that idea or feeling that you have after your mission and vision is the only thing that could just like raise you back up. And once you have the belief and once you have the passion, you need to have a structure, a methodology. You need
Yeah.
to have the roadmap. You need to have a strategy for execution. Be it it's a training, networking event, deciding on what your next step would be, which I'm very often working with my clients now, is that building up a strategy in order to reach from point A to point B. And during the course of that strategy taking place and structural pattern, what will happen is that we will go through these ups and downs, and this emotional support plays an incredibly important role. This emotional IQ, um, controlling your nerves, controlling your anxiety, and growing into the panic zone, and then again the comfort zone in your own world, plays a very important role. So emotional beginning, structural continuum, in between some emotional supports of many different kinds. And when you reach the top, having this inner feeling of accomplishment and
Yeah.
enjoying that accomplishment for a certain amount of time are the main learnings, I think, that I can share with our audience.
Definitely, definitely. And the fact that you spoke about that emotional support is very important, because we need to be calm, we need to be patient, right? And we need,
Yes.
that support to calm us down, because
Yes.
sometimes we just reach that boiling point and we are like, just can't do anything anymore.
Yes. Yes.
Someone
Very
needs
true.
to,
Yeah.
turn the gas a little lower so that we go back and
Yes.
don't
Yes.
overflow.
Very true. And one more thing that I want to share, if I may, is that when we
Yeah.
take care of our emotional health and mental health, we need to simultaneously take care of our physical health, which I neglected for a very long time when I was making that transition. And this is the one thing that I want to leave our audience with. When you are in the course of a transition, transformation, whatever you that might look like, you need to first take care of your physical health because it's your vehicle in this planet Earth. You need to eat well, really like fresh food, very nutritious, protein content, whatever your nutritionist will advise you. You need to take care of yourself with good quality food, a lot of water, a good quality sleep that you will gift yourself with at the end of every day. That will be a game changer. And
Yeah.
starting from the physical realm, taking care of your vehicle first, you can then jump into the status of now I have the mental capacity to contribute to this project in a good way. And when you fall down, you would also go, oh, now I have the emotional capacity to roll down the roller coaster at all costs. But without taking care of our physical health first, getting rid of the inflammatory stuff, getting rid of anything that might cause harm in our body, we won't be getting there. And one single, again, analogy and example that I could give is I am gluten intolerant, and gluten causes inflammation in my body. But
Mhm.
stress is also creating cortisol, and that creates inflammation in our bodies too.
Right.
In the stages of my life when I'm under huge stress, if I overload my body with gluten containing products, again, what happens? You are There are some parts of the journey that you cannot control, like the cortisol, it's skyrocketing without your control. This is a biological thing. The only thing that you can control, and do not consume the things that will create that inflammation in your body. So that with this tiny example, and before we finish, I want to leave everybody with this idea that in the phases of career, getting more career clarity, building up identity to the direction of you belong to, communicating who you are becoming and who you have become to some extent with your audience, with your clients, with your people, you need to take care of your mental health, physical health, and emotional health along the way, and control the things very precisely, the things that you can take under your control, so that when things get out of control for however many reasons that the universe could throw at us, you will be more prepared to stay on course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And that's wonderful.
You're
And
welcome.
I love how you the experience that you've had from the architect background helps you bring that analogy while explaining things, right? And that makes it super easy for the other person to understand. I really, really love that. And I think,
Thank
guys,
you.
this is how, if you are especially in a career transitioning phase, and this is how you can use your, past experiences and your new experiences without feeling that I will be a fresher again, right? So this is how you can just incorporate your experiences from your past careers, right?
Yes.
And I mean, she just showed it how to do it, and that was a
Yeah.
beautiful. I loved it.
Be the
And
Empire States.
yes, and I also love the fact how you spoke about the body, because a lot of time people don't actually talk about it. They just talk about, mental health and all of that. But yes, physical health is very important, and it's very important to fill our body with like a pure fuel. We don't want to mix match, right?
Yeah.
No acidic fuels, pure fuel.
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome, Dilek. That was amazing. And I
Thank
am
you.
super, super happy that you joined us today for this amazing session. But, we do have some time limitations, which is why we have to bring the session to an end. But I really, really look forward to have another beautiful session with you, maybe on
Thank
some
you.
other interesting topics for our viewers. But before we wrap this session up, is there any final tip that you would like to share that could help our viewers in their career growth?
Oh, yes, I have actually, and I think it's a good way to wrap everything up. Connect with people on a personal level, on a professional level. Do not shy away from connecting with people and ask for help and provide something before they ask, even. For example, connect with me on LinkedIn. I am an open book, as I told you. Shoot me a message because we didn't have much time today, right? We don't have much time, Tripti, for questions and answers. But if you have some
Yes.
questions, I'd be happy to help. Shoot me a DM, send me a message, send me an email, and let's get connected, and let's try to stay on course and bring our best selves and best work to this life in the limited amount of time that we have here. But we all can make a difference, and without one single contribution, we are one person missing. Please do connect with each other. Please do connect with me. And I'm grateful for your time today, for being present in this conversation. Tripti, I'm thanking you so much for this wonderful invitation. It was a wonderful chat. I hope our audience liked it and had a good time too.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, that's how we connected. LinkedIn, we
Yes,
connected, right? So,
yes.
reaching out and networking is very important. And you can find Dilek's profile right somewhere at the event page. Otherwise, Dilek, you can also, drop down your profile link on the comment section later
Yeah,
on the event
yeah.
page, so that they can find you easily. And if you guys are again looking for any other networking opportunities, please feel free to log on to techjobsfair.com, because we have multiple events lining up for next year, both a physical, in person. So feel free, and if you're a job seeker, register for free, right? Once again, Dilek, thank you so much for joining us. It was a super pleasure having you with us today, and thank you to
Thank
all of
you.
our viewers for being with us.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
see you all until next time. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.